Happy New Year. How's everybody doing? Welcome to 2024. This is your boy Ray Rob. I hope everybody had a great holiday season. We're going to jump right into it. You know what I'm saying? I got the Scully on, in the house because my hair. Listen, man, I'm going to get cut tomorrow, so don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's all good, though. Show you in my element. See the grays popping in, looking good, looking fresh, even when I'm rugged. So, holiday season, I learned a lot. It was great to see my family. My family came down here and kicked it with me, man. It really felt good. My mom and my dad, my sister and my nephew. It was great to see, man. It made me feel good. So, learned a few things about the holidays, but I'll keep them to myself. But I was glad to see my family. I wish everybody prosperous 2024, good health. Hope everybody says new year, new me, but you are able to achieve goals and stuff like that. You put them down. Don't get discouraged. Just aim for what you want to do. Whatever you want to do, put a plan to it. Just try to achieve it. Everybody's trying to make it out here, and it's not easy. So, start off with the positive. I ain't dropped nothing in a little bit. I just wanted to kind of come on here because I've been just watching the national media. I mean, it's funny when, they talk about people got their agendas. And by the way, also, Cat, I haven't even seen his whole interview with Shay, Uncle Shannon. You know what I'm saying? Crazy. He's got the internet going crazy and Epstein's list or whatever. Cat going wild. Or he just going cat. He just saying what he's telling his truth. So that's what's been going on today. But of course, everybody knows if you watch this channel, I'm a Bears fan. I'm a Buckeyes fan. Of course, as fans, we do have biasness. So I understand that. With me, I think I know sports pretty well. I mean, I know a lot of people probably feel that way. I just try to stick with truthful things that we can see. And especially Fox. I mean, not that they care. They got viewers anyway, but I stopped watching Colin Cowherd a long time ago because I'll probably watch him again. I don't really watch skipping them like that. I mean, good shows and stuff like that. I guess I go through a phase when I switch back and forth, but Colin Cowherd, his biasness is ridiculous. Everybody has biases. His just kind of irks me at the point, especially, because I understand there's an East Coast bias and he has his West Coast bias. There's nothing wrong with it, but, it's particular. He was on Ohio State. Now he's a Jim Harbaugh fan. So anything Ohio State does, the quarterbacks and everything, they're not good. This man said up and down, there was nothing special about C.J. Stroud. He's not special. He'll be lucky to be a Jared Goff. And he thinks Jared Goff is good, but he was not saying that as a compliment. He didn't have any belief in Justin Fields. And of course, towards the beginning of the year, they became the dark pick to be sexy for the dark horse as a playoff team. He started coming around and everything. But now, because he loves Caleb, he loves everything that Lincoln Riley and USC does, of course. I mean, he's not just the only one. Speak, a show that I really tune into and watch, they really hurt my feelings a lot. I see Acho coming around a little bit. James Jones is the only one who keeps, as far as he's pretty even keel about everything. I felt like Joy was like that as well for most stuff. Not to say they're wrong or right. LaShawn is biased, especially. I just listened to him today give the same excuses for his Philadelphia Eagles that he would knock Justin Fields on. But he's an Eagles fan. And I mean, he's not. He's an Eagle, all-time leading rusher. He has his right to do that. But, he says a lot of dangerous, saying that man can't throw and like he's not good. I listened to that show, so we're just going to get to it. Essentially, I'm just saying where the national media, they want everybody says to trade Justin Fields for Caleb. Trade Justin Fields, and you have to draft Caleb Williams at number one. And no matter what they do. But earlier it was when they were losing games, Justin Fields needs to turn it around and show you something, and he has to start winning games because his record is so bad. And yeah, we know it's a business, everything is a results business basis, but I mean, if you watch, you don't have to, because there's other people, there's a lot of credible people, even if you don't care what I say because you don't know who I am. There are credible people that say incredible things about Justin Fields that don't have to say anything. And I'm not even going to get to his teammates or the city of Chicago. I mean, there's some people that want to move on from him, and we understand. There's things that he holds the ball too long. That's his biggest crux. But when he gets out of that trouble, he's getting out of trouble like maybe Lamar. Only Lamar can do that. And maybe Jalen at times. Josh Allen can break tackles and stuff like that. He can do the more of the big, agile, big band Cam Newton things. And I'm not knocking that, you know what I'm saying? But as far as Justin be doing stuff that I ain't seen too many people that's able to do that, with a combination of speed and power. He does some amazing things. And if you look at the context, it's very simple. I'll break it down to you. Everybody would concede Justin went to a bad situation with a lame duck coach who didn't give him any reps his rookie year in training camp to keep his word to start Andy Dalton. But you picked this man number 11. And then you tried to follow the Kansas City model, which was sit Patrick for a year and then learn. I get it. Patrick Mahomes was sitting behind Alex Smith, who had been to an NFC championship, who, he started out his career bad and then he got better. He got better under Jim Harbaugh. Then he got, he was very solid under Andy Reid. Made a Pro Bowl. So, yeah, Patrick Mahomes was sitting behind that. He wasn't sitting. Now, if he was sitting behind Andy Dalton 2014, 2015, I'm cool. He's sitting behind Andy Dalton, who Cincinnati let go so they could tank and draft Joe Burrow, and then he was a backup when Dak went down. And that's who you wanted to be the starter. And then you leave him out to dry when he has to start. Basically, Justin's been behind the 8 ball. There are things, of course, you have to do. But that first year, they didn't have anything planned for him. He looked bad. Not because of himself. He had good moments, but they weren't, the great quarterbacks, the great coaches and offensive coaches that I see all tailor their system towards the quarterback while staying within the basics. The coaches that Justin have do the opposite. So they get fired, boom. So if you look at every quarterback in the second year, besides Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, his coach was Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer got fired. They hired Doug Peterson. They hired offensive coach, first of all. They equipped him with offensive weapons in his second year. They didn't have to gut the team. Ryan Poles comes in, he wants to gut the team. Okay. So you gut the team. That wasn't like 3 years ago or 2 years ago. That was last season. By gutting the team, you let go of Akeem Hicks. You let go of... I forgot Leonard Floyd was there. They let go of Leonard Floyd. Leonard Floyd wasn't the same person that he was once he left. He got better when he left Chicago. You let go of Khalil Mack. And then when the season starts, people forget Justin Fields, no matter what his worth, that he beat that San Francisco team. He was 2-1. They were 3-2. They went to New England and had, besides this Atlanta game, that was probably the best game call that Luke Getsy had. They went 33-14, and that was one of the few times you saw a coach just literally coach circles around Bill Belichick, per se. Then they trade Roquan Smith, and then they trade Robert Quinn. And then for a whole calendar year, they lose 14 consecutive games. And the 14 consecutive games that they lose, the defense gives up an NFL record of third of 25 points a game in 14 straight games. That means in the history of the NFL, before Topeka and Brown and all that shit, yeah, the 1954, look it up, do your history, kids. They gave up more points in the consecutive games of that magnitude than anybody in history. There was a stretch where Justin and the Bears averaged 32 points over a 4-game stretch, and the defense gave up 37. In that 14-game period where they gave up 25 points every game, the average was 30 points a game that they were giving up. So they went 3-14 last year. They had the number 1 pick. You know, we all know what happened. They traded it down. Everybody wanted them to get Bryce. Nobody said CJ. They were just talking about Bryce was a generational talent last year. I'm not saying he's not. The same people that saying get Caleb, the same people that say get Bryce. And when Bryce went with Frank Reich, it was going to be automatic. The Bears are going to regret this. But then also, once they got DJ Moore, everybody, because it's the Justin Fields' 3rd season, are now comparing his 3rd season to Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen. But forgetting that in Josh Allen's 2nd season and in Jalen Hurts' 2nd season, they were pretty pedestrian, but they went to the playoffs. So they added talent. They added a superstar receiver to our already playoff-bound team. So it wasn't a jump that Justin Fields had to make. Justin Fields was on a 3-14 team, which was the worst team in the league. So you expect, the frustrating part is, if you have watched all the games, the frustrating part is, and this is not, well, maybe coulda, shoulda, woulda, the Chicago Bears have blown an NFL record 3 games this year when leading by double digits in the 4th quarter. So realistically, I know woulda, coulda, shoulda. They're 7-9. They should be 10-6 and battling. They would be tied with Detroit right now. They would have they would have swept both games, and they would have a chance to play for the division against Green Bay this week. So they did have a chance. In hindsight, yeah, that would have been one of the biggest jumps in NFL history. But if you would have said at the beginning of the year, which people said, if you could go from a 3-win team to a 7 or 8-win team, you'll see progress, and you'll be excited. That'll be enough to keep anybody else. Where at the beginning of the season, 3/5 of the offensive line was injured. 3 out of the 4 starting secondary players, who were all young, were injured. Where they gave up 35, still was giving up that 25 points every game. Not to say that Justin didn't have his mistakes. You know what happens with quarterbacks? Without even the best quarterbacks, you know what happens? Sometimes when the defense doesn't play well and you're not in a situation, you know what quarterbacks do? They press, and then they try to do too much, and then they turn the ball over. You know who I've seen do that? I've seen Josh Allen do that this year. Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. Every good quarterback has done that with infinitely better units than Justin Fields. This is not to make any excuses. This is just the facts. We've seen the defense is taking an uptick and the quarterback play has gone down. So a lot of quarterbacks have had to press, and when they press, they have them to turn the ball over. That's with good teams. That's with winning situations. They're able to bounce back. So imagine a team that's 3-14 that hasn't been winning, but they're expected to do the same things that a winning team or winning franchise are supposed to do. If I'm correct, there's usually a process for that. And so Chicago's going through the process. They're learning the process right now. That process is called learning how to win. That's what they're doing this year. So those 3 games they did lose. And then Justin gets hurt. He's out for 4 games. Then something miraculous happens. They trade for Montez Sweat. The defense stops giving up 25 points when Badgett was playing. And Badgett, there's no knock on him. He played as a good backup. People want Badgett because Badgett, he throws on time because, it's a little different. When you don't have the arm talent as such people, you try to anticipate. So Badgett he's going to get the quick passes off the checkdowns out. But when it was time to make the play that they needed and he pressed, he turned the ball over. And he's a rookie. They'll get up. But there's nothing wrong with that. That's just life. That's how it kind of goes. You see what I'm saying? But people want to see him because I guess, you want to. Badgett is like a lot of quarterbacks we've had. He'll be 17 for 25. It'll look good. He's getting it out, and he'll have 125 yards, 130 yards, and we may win, we may not, depending on the defense. So that's not a knock. We had Mike Glennon. I've seen that. We had Jim Miller. No knock on him, but as far as we've seen that before. So Justin comes back. They play well. A 12-point lead. The play calling, we already know the play calling has been an issue. They go conservative. Justin plays well, and then in a lot of situations, they take the ball out of his hand when they could put their foot on the throat of the opposition. They lose to Detroit. Cleveland, they're up. The defense has been playing well. Defense has been playing top 5 football since this time, since Justin's been back. Even a little bit before, especially with Montez Sweat. So they're up on Cleveland. They get conservative. Everybody talks about Justin, his passer yards and everything. And they'll harp on how Mahomes, who deserves more of a leeway because he is Mahomes, the amount of key passes that players have dropped for Justin, that if they were caught, change this narrative. If Tonyan catches that open 70-yard pass, if Mooney catches, there was 2 touchdown passes dropped in the Cleveland game that puts him over 300 yards that everybody saw. But nobody talks about that. They just want to talk about the accumulation of the record. And that's what kind of is like. So essentially, it didn't really matter for a lot of people, whatever Justin did, unless he was otherworldly. You wanted him to pull out a miracle, but you like who you like, and that's cool. But to me, Ryan Poles has a decision to make. He's going to do what's best for the franchise. I'm not going to lie. I love the Bears. I've been a Bears fan, since Sweetness. I've been a kid. But if they didn't draft Justin Fields, I was about done with it because I was already mad. We picked Mitchell Trubisky over Deshaun Watson, who was the best quarterback in the country and in the ACC. But we try to be slick. But we've drafted Justin Fields, and that brought me back. Now, if they trade Justin, let him go to Atlanta. At least let him go to Atlanta or New Orleans. I'd be a fan. I'm not going to lie. But if you don't see, if the Bears didn't have this first pick, everybody will look at this season totally different. But the first pick is blinding everybody so much that you ignored everything that you're seeing. The Bears are the Bears are the team that nobody, quiet as kept, the Bears are the team that nobody really wants to face. And that may sound crazy. They really should be 7-0 in the last 7 games. They've won 5 of 6, if I'm correct, or 5 of 7. They started out 0-4. They are now 7-5. Like I said, and realistically, maybe 10-2. No, 9-3 for those 2 games. Like, not anything as far as like they blew those games, but that's part of the learning process. But just the way the national media is, and it's just, it's frustrating. I promised myself, I would use my voice as far as to me, because I'm arguing on X with people that don't even make any sense. And the people you cannot like Fields and all that, and I understand, but to see this team and not see what's happening, it's a choice that you choose not to do. You can see them, they're coming together. Everybody keeps talking about this stupid, you got to pay him $40 million. Like, that's another narrative. You don't got to pay him anything. You could just fifth-year option him. He's in his 3rd year. So in actuality, everybody is saying that this is Justin Fields' 3rd year. He needs to take that jump like Jalen and Josh Allen. In reality, he's in their second year when they barely made the playoffs. That's because this team, besides percentage points, they're going to have the same records as some teams that might make the playoffs. So that's where he's at. Next year, when they get even more talent, you'll see that jump. The way you saw Jalen jump when they were questioning him as a question, and he went to an MVP. I'm old enough to remember that people didn't even want Tua, and Tua had a Jalen Waddle and Mike Gesicki. But then it's funny when you get a coach that really wants to utilize you to make sure you succeed and everything, then you're able to prosper and grow. And so I have my doubts about Getsy, but one thing I will say about Getsy is they're all young in their roles. Matt Eberflus is the first-time coach. Getsy is the first-time play caller, but you can tell he's getting better. He needs to learn how to counter. That's the next. He needs to keep the game plan like when they're ahead, because the defense is giving the offense opportunities, and they're giving the offense opportunities where they can shut the door in the first half. That's how dominant they've been. So the next step is to capitalize on those. That's what you do next year. That's how you look like Philly. Philly's defense was like, oh yeah, last year. Sacking the quarterback, we're capitalizing on opportunities, and the offense is going to score. That's the jump that I can see for Chicago next year. If you stay with Justin. To be a Chicago quarterback is not for the weak. Caleb doesn't even want to go to Chicago. Y'all keep on talking about being Caleb. Drake May, that's cool. Everybody, he's a better talent than Justin Fields. All right. Show me. Show me. I understand, you talk about stats wise, but if you look you got to show me people that are in not great situations that are able to shrug off Danielle Hunter, Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith, Calais Campbell. And then make plays. I know a couple people that can do that. Everybody can't do that. Now, yeah, in a perfect situation, maybe they can't get to you, but when they get to you, because that's what you need somebody to do some extra special stuff in those situations. Now, he has to get his fundamentals down. I have faith. I feel like we're going to beat Green Bay this weekend, and we're going to make it tough. I feel like Ryan Poles is going to play chess, and he's going to keep that, and we're going to get a couple of draft picks. Everybody says 3 first rounds. Maybe I say 2 first rounds, maybe 2 first rounds, or 3 first rounds, maybe 3, because people might need a quarterback. Maybe 3, couple, and but as far as this year's draft, I say a 1 and a 2, maybe a 1 next year, the 1 year after that. I can see that, but yeah, the national media is crazy. It's crazy. Y'all don't watch the Bears football, and it's okay. It's all right, because if the Bears didn't have the number 1 pick, and you just watch this team over the last 6 weeks, they're one of the best teams that's playing football right now. Everybody talks about Arizona. Arizona, you didn't want to give them props for it, but Arizona has beat Dallas and Philly. Their victories have come against teams that are in the playoff races. Atlanta, they have the foundation there. They're going to build more talent too. So that's just my take on it. I just wanted to start off the new year to say Happy New Year's to everybody. More to come. I'll be back on in a couple days to talk about the weekend games. Who's going to win in the pivotal? Like I said, I got the Bears over Green Bay to start off with, but you'll see me later on. I'll post another thing. I'll go over the weekend games, and of course, once we get the wild cards and everything, I'll predict that. We're going to have a great year this year. We're going to talk all types of sports. I haven't even got to college football. I'll get to that next week with the championship game. Congrats to Michigan. Congrats to Washington. They were great games. Georgia, they're not playing with people. Don't y'all ever put them in a game like that again. They'll win 100-0. Ohio State, get your stuff together. But it's stuff. I see what you're doing, But as far as when to check me out, there's a couple places you can go. Of course, this is my YouTube page, Ray Rob. Same handle as far as Instagram, RayRob97. On IG, Twitter, Snapchat, Well, X, not Twitter. Also, TikTok. The Ray Robb Report page on Facebook as well. I'll be hitting y'all up soon. Peace.